Hi guys, it's Erin, and I told you guys I wanted to be as transparent as possible when it comes to making this series, which is why I honestly didn't know where to start and why it's taken me so long to come up with episode 1. But I figured the best place to start was RHYA, the Runaway Homeless. We can go back through history and see Runaway mentioned in newspapers as early as the late 1800s. And it has definitely been a issue that society has remarked on throughout history. You can find many articles leading up into the 50s and the 60s where it just seems to pick up more and more. And by the 60s and 70s, you have people making documentaries about this obvious problem of runaway and homeless youth. Before, you would occasionally see them in the city, but more and more started flocking to the city, and it also became a suburban problem, to the point where we could no longer tuck away this problem and act like it didn't exist. And that is where the RHYA Act came in. There had to be some kind of help at a federal or state level, especially within the communities. These kids needed help, and it finally needed to be addressed. And so the RHYA Act was created. So what all together does RHYA entail? So this is what I got from their website. RHYA is a program grant administered by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services to help runaway and homeless youth with training and technical services, maternity assistance, and outreach on the streets, and operates a national communications system called NRS, the National Runaway Safeline. Even that's a very short description of what they do. But the funding that they get allocated to them every 5 years that they have to get reauthorized to keep this program into place, which we will circle back for, they take that funding and they put it into 5 big main pots. But we're going to talk about the first 3 pots that they put that money into that make sure all the funding goes there first, because those pots get distributed down to the states, which put them out to the communities where the kids need them the most. So here's the 3 main services that funding goes to. Street outreach provides educational treatment, counseling, connection, and referrals to vital services to prevent abuse and human trafficking. TikTok, play nice. This is education. Don't take it away. Basic Centers provides temporary housing with counseling, therapeutic family intervention, connection to education, and supportive services for minors experiencing homelessness. And I love these top 3, and we will take a deeper dive into them in another episode. Transitional Living provides longer-term housing with supportive services to include maternity group, homes for pregnancy, and parenting youth. Many kids that have gone through the system or are currently in the system know that once you age out of the system, you're generally just tossed away. And this transitional living tends to help kids from 16 to 23 to make sure that these kids are having some help starting their young adulthood. This system is number 4. It is the National Runaway Safeline, and it is a 24/7 crisis connection. You can call, you can chat, you can email, and there is even a forum that you can go in if you are a runaway youth, a homeless youth, or even a parent or guardian worried about a runaway or homeless youth child, and just a regular citizen that wants to learn about it and help. You can always go on this forum and get a lot of questions answered. But again, as a runaway, homeless, trafficked youth, or if you are in a situation, this hotline is 24/7. Live chat, call, email. This is a safe place for these kids to get help. And this has existed for a long time. I wish it knew it existed when I got thrown into the system. Before I got thrown into the system, maybe I would have less trauma and issues with the system if I knew that this was an option. So that's why I'm here, is I want to make sure that when there are kids sitting at home that feel like they have to run or they have to get away, that they know the safe places to start looking for help. If you Google runaway as a youth or even as a parent guardian, it'll generally take you to the National Runaway Safeline hotline page where you can find this information, or it'll take you to the RHYA Act itself. And there are some great statistics that came out of RHYA. In 2019, 1 in 30 minors aged 13 to 17, they found endured some form of homelessness or housing security within that year. And 1 in 10 young adults aged 18 to 25 also endured some form of homelessness or housing security in that year. 57% of the youth that do reach out to RHYA using the Safeline are still at home seeking help. So they haven't gone out on the streets. They aren't trafficked yet. They aren't homeless. They are trying to make a safe move out of the situation that they're in. That's what we want. 57% is an amazing number. We can definitely make that 57% higher if we educate the youth that this is out there. There are many kids that aren't safe at home, and so their first instinct is to run away from home. They've endured whatever they can, or they feel not safe in a situation, maybe not at home, maybe at school, but they don't know how to tell anybody, maybe at church, maybe in their sports group. There's a situation happening and they don't know how to ask for help, or they feel like don't have an option for help, and so running away feels like the best option. And that puts a kid on the street, and that puts a kid in a whole new set of danger. They've estimated that these guys work with over 100,000 youth a year to get them the help they need to intervene with these kids before they get in situations that they can't get out of. That's incredible. And again, that is a number that we can help in so many ways if we are educated as a community of where to get these resources for these kids, to spot that these kids need these resources, and to make sure that this is continued to get funded at the level it needs to get funded to continue to help these kids. I would love to go into the timeline of the program from its conception to where it is now, what it's done, how it's changed, and what it still needs help with. But that's going to have to, of course, be in another episode. I plan to cover so much more when it comes to runaway youth and homeless youth and trafficked children. And I hope you're here with me for the journey. I'm trying to make this as bite-sized as I can because I know long videos, people don't stay long, but I think it's really important information for us to know. So hopefully I see you in episode 2.